Kind of one of those things I just kind of walked into. I had no idea what I was getting into, and that's what I do. And just sure, I'll do it, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But you just learn. I always find that's the funnest way to learn stuff. But anyways, I've always been interested in the outdoors, and I'm a birder, and so the Ingham Conservation District has about 200 acres of property down on Dexter Trail. That was one of my prime spots where I would go out and do a lot of whether it's trail cameras or other videos. They have a YouTube channel, so I do a lot of the videos of the wildlife. And this was so like during COVID 2020, 2021, and the director had left. So she had left, took another job, so there was no director. And things just kind of got weird during the COVID years. And I was just trying to find out what goes on with the conservation. I'd like to get involved, but there was nobody. It seemed like nobody was running the show, so I didn't know what was going on. So they did get a new executive director named Jamie Grominger, and then there was one board member named Pete Vincent. Anybody know Pete? Remember Pete? So Pete had been on the board for about 20 years, and he kind of like did everything there. And there was just two other board members who weren't really active. So I just ended up calling one day. I just called the phone number and said, hey, I'm interested in what are you guys doing at the Conservation District? And I said, hey, guess what? We got a board meeting tomorrow. We got a position up. You should show up. So I did. And it was one of those things where, so that was in 2023. Yeah, so it was like 2 years ago, January 2023. Went to the board meeting. There were two members on there. You have to have three members even to have a quorum to do your business because there's 5 positions there. And within 6 months, everybody else quit and left. And then I was like the last person there, and then we had to hire a new executive director. The website crashed during the tree sale, so doing it, which is the main fundraiser. So, anyways, it's been an interesting experience, just to say the least. And so, anyways, I reached out to Doug. I guess it was last fall, and basically, so my appeal here is that with Conservation District, there's a lot of things that we want to do. We're missing a lot of that history. Sounds like a lot of you do have some history with the Conservation District. We're trying to do a lot of things, but it's almost like we're starting from scratch. And I kind of feel like sometimes that's a good thing, right? Sometimes it's like, let's just kind of start things over. So that's where the Conservation District is. Backing up a little bit, so I am fairly new to Mason. So my wife and I moved here in 2018. We live just 3 blocks down the road here, right next to the gazebo. We're in one of the houses that's off the, kind of off the road there. So anyway, the Conservation District property is a big, important part of why we moved here, and one of the things that we enjoy. So, a couple of things I want to say. So, with the Conservation District, and this is the part I got to read because I don't remember this part yet. But so the mission of the Conservation District is to promote and practice stewardship of our natural resources by serving, educating, and empowering our community. And the thing to think about is, how things change over time. 1944, so conservation districts were established. This is in response to the 1930s with the Dust Bowl, and this was FDR. So FDR's name was brought up, in the tail twister there. So basically, it was brought up to figure out how to get federal money to basically preserve soil. Because basically, they started soil conservation districts. So it's like, how do you get that federal money and get it into local communities to help people, preserve their land and preserve farming. And so conservation districts were established then. Ingham Conservation was established in 1944. And right now in Michigan, there are 75 conservation districts, which there are 83 counties, so they roughly line up with counties, but if you get farther about some of the districts are.
There we go.
Okay, thank you.
One of the big things
call it
that's, so back in, I think it was in the early 2000s, one of the big grants that the Ingham Conservation District got that kind of helped sustain it for several years was the SSMA grant. This is from the Michigan DNR, and SSMA is the County Invasive Species Management Area. And basically what that is controlling different types of invasive species. So that would be things like, right now there's aquatic plants like European frogbit, there's lesser celandine, there's Japanese knotweed. Some of these things that really spread rapidly, and they're not native to Michigan, but they're also plants that basically outcompete a lot of the native plants. So things like Japanese knotweed, they can
Oh,
really just take
good.
off.
I was gonna.
So, those are, that's kind of the big area about, the conservation district. Like I said, we do have the approximately 200 acres.
Well, you'd have gotten that
which,
home and I wouldn't have wanted it anyway.
You know, one of the things that we're trying to develop is really like a conservation management plan for that property. So the property, that was actually sold, it was actually the DNR owned that property, it was a DNR game farm. It was sold to the district for $1 in the year 2000. And $1 seems like a great deal, but when you think it through, there was no money for maintaining all of that property. Maintaining, there's a house there that's used as an office, that was a farmhouse for a while. There's an education building, there's several outbuildings. Some of the buildings have gotten to the point where over the years, they, just started falling apart. So basically worked with the Mason Fire Department and they could come out and do control burns, that way they could get their training. Easy way for the district to dispose of some of these buildings that were no longer in function. So anyways, the property, even going farther back, one thing I've learned is that there is no grist mill that's on that property. There's an impoundment, which is on the property on the south side of Dexter Trail. And it's about a 6-acre impoundment. And that was built in, I believe it was the 1880s. And I think it was the Hawley name, was the family originally built that, because it's Hawley Road, which is the crossroad there. So the remaining structure of that grist mill is still there, because they knew how to build buildings back then. And then the game farm itself, like I said, the deed bought the property from a farmer, and I think it was in 1913. And we started doing that to raise pheasant, and then also, I guess we need to raise Canada geese at some time, right? So I guess that's a big success. And then when the property was sold to the district in 2000, it was, again, a great deal, but, there's a cost associated with managing a bunch of property when you don't have an endowment to go here. So some of our let me just say, our biggest fundraiser is our tree sale. So like almost all conservation districts, we do have tree sales. We try to grow or sell trees that are generally native to Michigan. We do a lot of conifers, because conifers are a really good tree for holding out the soil. Our tree sales, actually, it's online. It's available right now, open to the public. The tree sale, what happens is you can buy all your trees online. And then the tree sale, we have a pickup date where there are 2 days where we're always looking for volunteers, if anybody wants to help. The tree sale is on April 18th and 19th. So it's 2 days. People come in, when you place your order, those are the days you show up to pick up the trees. We always need volunteers to help out, especially before that time. Because when we receive the trees, generally they're bare root trees, so we need to make sure that they are properly packaged so that they survive. We also have a wildflower sale, and the wildflower sale is not currently online. Pickup date will be a little bit later. That will be May 16th and 17th, because of course you don't want to plant wildflowers in April with the weather we have. And we're also doing another thing right now with the International Crane Foundation, which is in Baraboo, Wisconsin. It's an organization that is dedicated to, I think there's 12 different species of cranes. Here in Michigan, of course, sandhill cranes have taken off. They were a endangered species as of the time my dad was born in 1939. Obviously, they're everywhere now. I was just driving down, I just got out of work. I was down in Coldwater today, and I saw probably 200 cranes. They're all coming back north right now. But anyways, there's a crane count there where basically we get volunteers to go out to different wetlands, find out where the cranes are breeding, and just kind of map those out. So if anybody's interested in any of those things, participating as a volunteer, or you're interested in purchasing trees, we have that available for you to choose. So I did mention, just kind of 3 basic things here with the conservation district. Our main issue right now is that we do have this big 200-acre property. We are looking for public input. Myself and we have 3 other board members. We currently have 1 board position open. So there's a new board, and we're all fairly new. I've only been on the board for 2 years. The others have only been on for maybe a year to 6 months. So we're all kind of learning what we're doing. Then we have the one executive director, Taylor Sweer. She's only been on that job for about a year. And then we have a couple other staff. One staff person works with the invasive species. So she has a team that goes out, and they will go out, they've been doing a lot of work in the Dansville State Game Area, just looking for invasive aquatic species that are out there. Then we do have an employee who works at the NRCS office, and he does farm bill stuff, assistance with agriculture. And I would say that's the one thing that we're lacking with our board of directors is people with an agricultural background. You know, most of the people on the board came into it because they're interested in hunting, they're interested in fishing, they're interested in bird watching, they're interested in trees, things like that. But we are looking for that component, having people with that interest in agriculture, bringing folks like that onto the board and bringing that experience on as well. Our kind of big goals here, big goal is really developing our trails at our property. So we have lots of trails throughout that property. Has anybody been out there in the trails? So trails are open to the public from dawn till dusk every day. You're welcome to bring dogs as long as you clean up after them and keep them on a leash when people are around. We close the trails in, mid-October until mid-January because we do hunting leases. So they're 2-week blocks. So there's 80 acres on one side and 120 acres on the other. So we lease it out as a lottery system. So, and I think it's, I want to say it's $200 for 2 weeks or something like that. And we start with, with the early doe season, and this year there was that late doe season in mid-January. So those are the only times the trails are closed. But we do want people to come out there and see the trails. One of our big goals is to really make the trails more accessible. Right now with trail maintenance, we have a good partnership with the Mid-Michigan Mountain Bike Association. And so, but a lot of bike riders go out there on the trails, mountain bikers. And they got some great volunteers. They come out and they're cutting down trees every time we have a storm. They cut down the trees and build boardwalks and all that stuff. But our bigger goal is we have a good entry point off Holly Road. There's a parking lot there. There's an access point. And that's one of my goals is to get us an accessible spot for people with wheelchairs so we can get people in there and see part of the trails. It's a huge goal to get all accessible throughout the property, but I think that's a good starting point. It's a good parking area for people to get in there. So that's one of our big goals, trying to figure out how we're going to do that. With our tree sale, we want to help people to grow trees, especially trees that are native here to Michigan, and maintain some of the species we have. So one of the big plans is on the property. So on one side of the road, if you've been out there, there's the old farmhouse, and that's basically the office. The other side of the road, there's where the farm used to be. There was an old barn there, an education building, and a Quonset hut. On that side, we have a large prairie, a couple acres there. We want to redevelop that, and with the tree sale, is basically start sort of a demonstration arboretum, if you will. So we actually start growing some of those trees out there, so that way people can come out and see what these trees look like. And obviously, it's going to take a few years before they get to any big size, but that's just one of our big audacious goals that we have. We'd also worked on, unfortunately we didn't get this grant from the Michigan Wildflower Association, but we also wanted to create a smaller garden there that has demonstration for different kind of prairie plants there. Some of the property too, we have 2 areas, I will loosely call them prairies. One area there, there's a state of Michigan endangered species called the Henslow sparrows. That breeds out in that one area, so that's kind of a critical habitat we want to maintain. There are other areas of the property that have had prescribed burns, to really get a lot of the native species there. That program is, we're kind of off the schedule, so we're trying to figure out how we can get back on that. And then just overall, what is our plan for the trail? What's our plan for the property for the future? There's a lot of areas where, we've got heavy deer browse, which, we do have the deer hunts that go on out there to help try to keep the deer population down. We've got our battles with beavers right now with clogging up the dam, and that has been a perennial problem. It's trying to decide how do we want to be with the beaver. So there are a couple of different beaver dams on the property on Mud Creek there. And then just overall a forest management plan, like what's the future of this look like? And remember so the Ingham Conservation District, it is a local form of government. Those of us who serve on there in an elected position as board members, we're a governing board, so we have staff that, we have an executive director who oversees the day-to-day operations. But as board members, our job is to, we have to sign off on the budget and things like that, and just kind of provide direction. But we do need input from the community. I mean, that property, it's for everybody in this room. Everybody is an Ingham County resident. That's property. That's a place that we want to preserve and keep for for future generations. So I encourage any of you to come out and see the property, come to one of our meetings. We meet the second Thursday of each month, so our next meeting is March 13th. But there are other ways you can get involved too. We have a tree sale. You can always give a call to me. I'll share all my contact information with Doug. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, there's ways you think, because really comes down to, isn't it the case? We all need money to do things, right? You got big goals, we got plans, we want more input from the community. What do you think we should do with this property? What's a good idea? Do we need more input from different people? We're in that kind of stage right now. We've got these big goals. Now we need to kind of let's parse these things down, make a plan, figure out how we're going to fund these things. We need volunteers to do stuff. Obviously, it's a big piece of property. If there are community groups, children groups, I know there's a lot of older scout projects out there. I was a Boy Scout way back in the 1980s in Midland, and there's always the scout projects that we need. And I look at a lot of these older scout projects that are now 20 years old and they're just falling apart. So if there's things like that to get kids and young people involved, any ideas like that, we'd love to work with you if you got projects with people. And then we're always looking for these partnerships. Our big partnership is with the Mid-Michigan Mountain Bike Association, and they do a great job with maintaining not just the trails at the Conservation District, but a lot of the parks throughout Ingham County and the Capital District area. But we are looking for other partnership opportunities, where we can work together with you guys with the Lions Club, or if you know any other groups. We're always trying to engage kids. You get a learning experience out of it. So we're all ears. My appeal today is just come out here and telling you about the Conservation District. That, like I said, we're kind of stepping into kind of a new direction here. And we do need a lot of input. We do need that help. Really, the big thing is getting some input from all of you. Like, hey, what do you think we should be doing with that? It's a fantastic property if you've never been out there. There's some great opportunities out there, and it's here to serve everybody in Ingham County. So, with that, any questions, comments? Anybody got any other stories you want to tell about Conservation District? I love learning about this stuff. I'm brand new to it, so.
So,
First year.
first thing, I make very good use of the trails out there.
Great.
We live a mile and a half from there in that Joe Johnson subdivision just off of Dexter Trail. So we're close by. When it's not closed for hunting, we're often out there. So we love it. We're glad it's there. Second, I think I missed the part when you were talking about the invasive species, but I think it was early COVID, like October or November of 2020, there was an event out there to try and at least knock back, if not eradicate, Tree of Heaven. And I don't know if that's still a battle. Are we looking at, trying to work on those again another time? That was off of the Holly Road access point.
Yeah, so there hasn't been anything done with that since then. And that's the thing, it's almost overwhelming. So that's why we kind of need a plan to figure out, because there's so many invasive species out there.
Yeah, you gotta keep going on one of those until you kill them.
Yeah, so actually I know where those trees are, because I
Yeah.
see they were cut off, and I don't know if they were cut and dabbed, but they've resprouted.
They were injecting, some of the staff had a herbicide that they were injecting after they had been cut off.
And we do have, we also do rent out, do have an injector that we use for, so we have that available. There's a tree planter, there's other equipment available too, if anybody's interested.
So the other thing I was gonna bring up before we get to Sid over there, listening to your talk about the trails, and you mentioned looking at the possibility of, accessible trails. And I bet that if we're going down that road, that there's a club in town that might be interested in providing support in many different ways for that, especially if we're looking at ways to make them accessible to people that can't see.
Yeah.
Braille, touch stuff, scent stuff, and kind of like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we couldn't find a way to support that. Yes, the answer is yes, we would. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd love to work with you guys on that,
Yeah.
and,
So-
yeah, that's a key thing, accessibility of these trails. I have a good friend, and, you know, their daughter, you know, she's in a wheelchair, and we talk about this property, and she can't get out there. And
Yeah.
that's my goal, is to get it, so she can at least get out there and see some of that, and enjoy some of that, which, you know, I'm fortunate that I can get out there and see it, and, you know, I want everybody who can enjoy that property to be able to get out there and see it, so I think that's important, so,
Yeah.
we've talked about that.
I was just gonna say, I was on the board when that property was acquired.
Okay.
I couldn't remember how many years it was, but
Yeah, it was 2000, so that was 25 years ago. And were you there when they built the education building?
I was working on that when I was there.
Okay. And so that's another thing. We have this education building. It was built in about 2000, and it is not maintained well. So that's one of our big projects next month. Is me and the board members are going to walk out there, and we're looking at probably stripping it out. You know, it just needs a total rehaul. But we really want to use that building as for you know, education projects. We could have it for, you know, doing meetings there, anything like that. But
At that time, Leipzig Community College was 17 laws to work on it.
okay.
That's how I got to where it was.
Yeah, because there's a plaque. There's a couple. I can't think of their names, but there's a photo of them. It was a name of Glassen Education Center. I think that was the last name of the people. So, but anyways, that's the thing, is once your leadership goes away for a couple years, like old history, you know, I've been going through old files and kind of trying to figure out what happened here in the past. But it's kind of like, you know, COVID came through and just like kind of erased the board, and we had to like restart over. So I'll be honest with you, it's a struggle. It's also something that all of us who are involved with it really enjoy. We're all passionate about it. I want to see this thing succeed. That's our trying to meet with people. And if you know of other groups, you know, that you think would be helpful to the Inland Conservation District, let me know, and I'd be happy to go out and speak with those folks and we'll try to see where we make some better connections. So, thank you for your service to the board.
It was been a couple years.
Any other questions?
They have the American elm that's wiped out by Dutch elm disease pretty much. They supposedly had a resistant variation they came up with, or putting those out. I don't know if you
I know
been
they're
able to
doing,
get those or
like the
not.
chestnuts, they're doing that. So, yeah, American elm.
This is elm.
Yeah, I know, because there was the Dutch elm disease in like the 70s. And actually, I was driving through Coldwater today, on my way, working down that way, and there's some huge elms that they still have down on the Main Street. One of the biggest elms I've ever seen. It was probably 10 feet in circumference, so, but amazing trees. But anyways, thank you very much for the time. You know, I'll stick around if anybody's got any more questions or want to meet up now. I got all my contact information to Doug, so if anybody wants to get in touch with me, feel free to do so. I'd love to talk to you. Thank you for your time.
On behalf of our president, who walked in over there, you're more than welcome to stick around for the rest of our meeting to find out what else we do.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why didn't we get
Yeah, I can get it going there tomorrow.
Okay.
Huh?
ICP used to.
He's getting in practice
Yeah.
for next year.
Yeah, this year we just have our 16 people with 2 bases.
All right.
Yeah.
See my gap?
Good, excellent.
Yeah. I told you you'd have to deal with Jamie, not me. Okay, secretary's report.
Okay, the secretary's report, the minutes of our last meeting, which was back on January 8th, are on the back of your agenda. Are there any additions or corrections? Those were emailed out to you 3 times now.
Move to support. Accept.
Jenny to accept them. Second. Second, says the fourth, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report.
Oh, just a couple quick things on correspondence. I did receive notice from the district that we have our 2025 delegate certification form for the celebration of service that's coming up next month. And if you are going to the celebration of service, there is an application on your table. for the celebration of service. If you are going, please let me know so I can put you down here as a delegate or an alternate here, so that we can send this in. So if you plan on going to the celebration of service, that's going to be on March, that's in here somewhere. There it is. Yes, Friday, March 21st, and then the actual district meeting will be on Saturday, March 22nd. The memorial service in the morning, and then the meeting in the afternoon. So if you are planning on going to that, it's gonna be in Mount Pleasant, and just let me know so I can get your name on here, please.
Jeff and
Karen?
I will be there.
Karen?
Jeff and I will be there.
Jeff and you? Okay, good.
I'll be there. Memorial.
Anybody else? Just Jeff and Karen? Okay.
Be there at the memorial.
If anybody else plans to come, please let me know.
Lorraine says she's gonna be
Oh,
there
Lorraine's
for
gonna
the-
be there?
For the memorial.
Okay.
I'll be there for the memorial.
Okay, will you stick around to do the voting later if you are an
I'm gonna
alternate?
stick around for what?
To do the voting?
I don't know, probably not.
Okay, so I won't put you down as the alternate then? Okay. All right, good. All right, anybody else, if you do decide to go, please let me know. That would be great. And I think that's all that came in, if not mistaken. There is on your table as well, an information sheet on one of the breakout sessions this weekend for the Lions of Michigan Forum that I'm doing with Terry Rathman Hawks, who's a PR person that we've hired to help us do local TV. Information on our local TV spot that we did last month is in one of the reports that we have on your table, so feel free to take a look at that. But as the marketing chair for this club, I wanted to bring it to your attention that we are gonna be having more resources statewide to help people put more of their service stories on local television, just like we did last month. And so that's all I got, Terry.
Jenny and Mike, if you guys want food, that burners are still going, it's warm, it's like chicken lasagna or chicken pasta, it was good.
Yeah.
Good, man.
You don't want anything?
We're
Nothing?
good, thank you.
All right, we got a lot more business, so give me something to do while we're doing business. Treasurer's report.
All right, treasury report is from February 20th, because the account's kind of in flux right now with the poker games going. It doesn't, until we pay all the bills, it doesn't really reflect what we have to work with. So this is from before I took the money out for the startup money, last Thursday. So administrative account is $9,043.86. Gaming account is $18,653.90. Donations is $3,489.30. In terms of the Texas Hold'em so far, it seems, I don't know how you guys did today, it was down, way down last night. We made basically 1,400 last night, and we were on the road going home by midnight. I think it was 1766 on Monday night.
And tonight was 13:25.
Okay, so we'll probably end up taking home when the bills are paid, $2,700, depending on how things go tomorrow. Essentially, the rule is that aces in the event spot can't bill us more than 45% of the actual bottom line, not the deposit, but what it counts out to be. And then it's less $200 per year, less that for the license, so. But still, we've got money going forward, we've got 2 more events coming up, 1 more event in this budget year and 1 in October.
September, October,
Yeah, so, coming along.
We'll have the sign-up sheet for the last week in April at our next meeting.
Any other questions? All bills are paid that I've received, and there are no outstanding dues. You
Motion
might
to
be interested in
accept
that.
that.
If you're not working.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Old business.
On your tables, you'll find the club news and written reports. We have club news and written reports for 3 sets of things because we had 3 meetings, that 2 we missed and then 1 tonight. So they all have Leos on them, but some of them have other things on them. Just wanted to mention real quickly that Cindy Mark did a great zone presentation on Leo clubs. So you want to read that article if you get a chance. Let's see, poker room, I think we've talked enough about that, haven't we? Okay, all right. Then site and hearing sweepstakes tickets, I caught many of you before the meeting started, or right when after we started. We have them all right here on the table, and some of you have purchased some already. You're more than willing to take some to sell as well. And just sign out for them in the back, and they're $10 a piece. Top prize is $5,000, but the subsequent prizes are all $1,000 this year, so it doesn't really graduate too much. But the actual drawing is going to be in May at the state convention, but we gotta finish selling these things by the end of April, just to let everybody know. Otherwise, the club has to buy them. We'd much rather sell them to people. And I think that's it. I've got for that.
Other items? New business, I know he's,
I already talked about delegate certification. The Lions of Michigan Forum is coming up this weekend. That's the Delta Marriott in Kalamazoo. We talked about the celebration of service on March 21 and 22 at Comfort Inn in Mount Pleasant. The Lions of Michigan Convention is going to be May 15th through 17th at the Doubletree Inn in Bay City. And the International Convention will be July 13th through 17th in Orlando. I'm going to that one as probably the only one I'm ever going to go to, but I'm going to that one myself. So Peggy and I are always looking for somebody to come with us. So if you are interested in doing that, please let us know. We'll give you some of the details of what we're doing. So that's the upcoming events that I know of.
any other items?
Do you wanna say anything about spring fling?
Oh yeah, I probably should. We will have a sign up for Spring Fling again next week as well, our next meeting as well. We have 2 booths again. Have a couple people from our causes, like Leader Dogs, I know, like will probably want some space, but we'll have people from some of our state causes who will be there. And so we're gonna be in the same spot, just so that you know, because there's gonna be this discussion around the community, and we're gonna plan on inviting Linda Hewson and Debbie Zielinski in to pick up their checks in the next couple meetings. But Linda Hewson, who you all probably know from our previous contacts with her, she has been named the Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year, and they're going to give her an award for that in April, beginning of April. She has decided this year that she's imposed on the chamber to have what she calls a volunteer alley, which actually will be right in front of Best Sellers. And it's going to be, it's what they did at Down Home Days, they had the Pinewood Derby people there, if I remember correctly. But she's gonna have all the volunteer organizations in town who are looking for volunteers to be there. And I said, we don't really wanna give up our spot, because we have a good spot, and everybody's looking to find us there and everything. So, we're gonna probably put up some kind of static display in this volunteer alley. But if people wanna staff that as well, that'll be another option for Spring Fling, because she's gonna plan on trying to do that, in May. So let people know about that too.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements or reminders?
Upcoming speaker is Mid-Michigan Waterways with Jay Hanks on March 12th. We're gonna be inviting our 2 speakers that we missed because of the weather. That would be our superintendent, Dr. Kinzer, and be inviting somebody, I can't remember his name now, Bob Stockwell, I think is his name, from Radio Reading Service. So he'll be coming back out in the next couple meetings or so. And that only leaves us one more meeting that we need a speaker for. And we've been, I've had a volunteer for that. Rich is gonna talk to us about his trip to Alaska. So we'll be doing that at the end of May. So I look forward to that.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
I'd like to have a board meeting, maybe not tonight, but I'd like to have maybe before our next meeting, we could meet at my house. There's some things I'd like to bring out, some ideas on some new fundraisers, some ideas on how much, what we would like to decide to have as a goal and how to get the money to get to that goal. Something here in the city of Mason, I know Mason needs a lot. And we could get a hold of Linda Houston in the process and see what she could help us come up with. So I'd like to have a meeting.
You mean beyond the dog park that we're working on?
Beyond the what?
The dog park that we're working on?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, tell us a date, figure it out.
I'd like to do it like the first weekend in March, which is probably next week.
I don't know, you probably can meet right in here, I mean, even if there's other, as long as there's not a meeting in here, but I know people from the bookstore come over.
Okay.
We
could
could
do
only
that.
take a couple tables.
We could do that, I think next Wednesday, if everybody could come, I'd like to do it maybe next Wednesday.
That work for board members? All right,
What time you thinking?
If we plan, if everybody gets here usually at this time, why not do it at this time?
6
Okay.
o'clock.
6 o'clock? Sure.
That would work.
Thanks, Jenny. Anything else?
Is there any information, there's a memorial gonna be for Ron?
I have no idea.
Anybody heard?
I heard.
I have no information at all. Couldn't find anything online.
Nothing?
No.
Are they gonna have a memorial at the convention for him
No, it's too late for getting
Too
that
late for
organized,
that?
yeah.
next year then?
Yeah, as long as we can get it organized, yeah.
They have to be in.
All right. All right, anything else? Sure.
No, drawings.
Oh, drawings.
He didn't want to give it.
That wasn't on the list.
Yeah, you can put that on the list.
There's a reason for that.
Now, at the very beginning, we do it 50.
There goes your own one here.
Put in $2, you get $3. I didn't buy it, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But if any of these win,
Everybody ready?
you can pull it, okay?
350635.
Sorry.
Well, raise your hand.
Got it.
Oh, he wins all the time.
$10 tonight.
Good deal.
There you go. Jeff's got the other one.
And then we do what we call a joker draw, where everybody gets a ticket for $1.
Last four are 95
I tried.
or 9005.
That's mine. And if you draw out of the deck of cards, it's kind of a progressive thing. If you draw the joker, then you get the money that's accumulated.
You also get the job.
And you get the job of collecting. Poor Jeff is the one who won last time.
So even if you're not a member, you become a member at that point.
Now you can adjourn.
Jack, check it out.
Now you can bang your name.
I just put away my gamble.
The money goes to
All right.
Yeah. Now we're good. Any questions that you got? Witnessed?
She's in Florida, so.
They do, as I mentioned, the service projects. We have one coming up, of course, in, we give scholarships to people high school, and then we have the service project planning flowers on the state school. Coming up in May. And then we have tickets representing the club at various events like that. And spring fling.
But I know.
We got another tour run coming up.
Well, one of the things you need are fresh ideas. Well,
Thank you.
so that's a big thing, you know, we had Mike come in, and he's had a couple of good ideas. Well, so fresh ideas, what can we do for the community, raise money, if we've got money. One of the other things that we do in the fall is a money raiser, but not a money raiser. Money raiser for the administrators because we're not doing it. Is that we scan tickets.
I didn't put anything away, I left it on the table, I don't know where they
We
get
help
it from.
reduce our dues.
It was all here when I got here.
Expensive.
Put it up.
Dues are
Put it up.
exorbitant. Jeff, I pay about $180 a year, $80 of that is for the food. And $100 is for the whole year. Not bad at all. And you have an application, okay, that's.
There's a $35 initial fee for the.
Yeah, 'cause we have the
Yeah,
house.
Okay. They did give us
And then if you were to join, our year runs July 1 to June 30. So if you could join in the middle of June.
It's prorated. Just fill out the application.
Go join April.
I think I joined this back here.
6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah, no. Got half, only about half of us here.
They're doing pretty good though.
24 now.
Yeah, but they're only playing. It's like the second half of every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta meet Chris.
Four younger people or
Yes.
guys and gals my age.
That's what we're doing right now.
That's what we want. We actually, we've got, Terry's son is a member, but he's got stuff going on, so he's a member of the.
Well, the thing is that even people who need a place to they need a place to be. Make their own friends, just the parents, kids. And so that's one thing that's
Yeah, it's doable, depending on your family members. You remember Emma Laura. I was a Lion member of the club and an officer of the club all through they were growing up.
Okay.
It was doable, but part of the way it's doable for our family is that Ruth would take care of the kids while I was doing this, and I'd take care of the kids when she was going to church. This is my week to right here.
Another way that people do it is that, we've got Gordon and Lorraine, they're married, Karen and, Jeff are married, I mean, we have couples come in. Also, we're now looking to get families, we have a Leo club for kids in the middle school. And one of the things that the thing is starting to is how the program, they have some program for kids who are even younger. So I know you don't have kids, but, that'll help that'll help bring them in. If you got a decent nephew in middle school, there's the Leo club. We got information on the Leo club in that package. The last information on the Leo club.
We just have to pick our spot and pick our project that makes sense, it's big, because you can't get
We reduced the amount of time we talk in the meetings by putting stuff on paper for people. And then we send it out to them on an email along with the meeting.
Yeah.
I asked you with a mouthful, right?
But, like I said,
I didn't know that was over 20 years ago that they were doing that.
Couldn't have been too much longer than that. I remember you had to take the heaters out there for the tree sales because it's colder than snot out there.
Yeah.
Also, a young person from, she's the head librarian.
That's not too uncommon.
from the trail, basically, one of those new maze library.
Yeah.
Come again.
It's gonna go.
I would probably get some money from them too.
We're just talking about the quiet.
I've got one.
And I'll conduct you then.
Yeah, perfect. Lorraine's a past district governor as his parents.
Ready?
This is the DNR,
That's
money
the
comes
official
from
newsletter that comes
our
out.
park passing.
So now I'm
Place, you know, stuff like that, that's where the money, that's what she said.
That was
money.
Yeah, me and Ryan.
Really, it's
Not that I
Find out more about that, just at least introduce myself, say, hey.
There's an awful lot of opportunities in any insurance class, especially the Lions, to gain organizational leadership skills. In fact, there's a whole leadership institute
Yeah, 'cause they were
that runs, here, we have several people that are or were certified trainers for that. So, highly useful institute.
Yeah. Cause that kinda ends, well, now.
You want me to give you a check for this?
Yeah.
Well, they come down to give it to me, just make it up.
I can make it up to them? Okay.
It's where the.
That should do, I don't have an invoice, but that'll work.
Yeah, so they can use that, and, you can use the check, I'll go ahead and take it over.
Okay.
Kip wrote out by Meyer.
No, this is not this,
I'm gonna cut through you if you need.
But anyways, it's the road, it's, we're kind of right about the Cedar Street exit.
We'll dive into that and.
So, yeah.
Meet Chris Lambert.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
good.
Chris.
That in my calendar, so should be able to.
All right.
All blocked off already.
Yeah, thanks for leaving that.
I appreciate it.
Give us a It's getting harder to find now.
Nice to meet you, thank you, Brown.
Oh, yeah, thank you. You're,
Terry.
Katie's dad, right?
Yeah, that's what they call me, Katie's dad.
Well, I graduated with Katie.
Oh, did you?
2004.
Okay.
You guys, or anybody know, looking to buy a house? You are nice guys.
I made sure, I just sold all my stuff last year.
It'll be a
Got rid of it.
three-way party, Marks and us and Rich, because
I know.
we've been there twice.
Yeah.
Actually,
Somebody at church
two
lives
tours,
there.
and then Marks have been
They
there
live on.
twice, because they were on the same tour as we were, but they were also,
Okay.
yeah, so it's
Well,
just a
Probably,
three-way
if they live in
thing.
town.
If you see me, make sure you tell me, remember where I saw you.
No, they live on the
I
country
get in
now,
a
make us.
quiet adventure, quiet water mode.
I live out in rural
There's a
town,
million
so I know they're
But
from
anyway,
there.
so it's not always the same person.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That's right.
You know, I was gonna relax.
Great.
Katie's dad, yeah, get called that a lot. See you later.
Yeah, for the quiet.
Yeah, there was quiet water, and they, over a few years back, because
This was before my time.
they've always wanted to, we've always had hikers in, and we've strained to get the bicyclists and some others in, and help to change the adventures rather than waters. Yeah, and so now we're doing a lot more with the bicycles, and starting to see,
Cause I see MFDA's.
I gotta put it on the
Yeah.
phone, so I know if I make the right.
Do you have a
a
mountain
lot of
bike?
bike stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love mountain biking.
I got
So
a
they're,
friend of mine,
they'll
I
be
haven't seen
there,
him for a while, but
A lot of
he was really
younger
big into
people
mountain
are
biking. Was
on
a
the
member of
board
that
and
association.
I've
my
only
daughter-
been back in the Mason area for.
My daughter was 30, who honestly was at the very first one a few years ago, still about 20 months old.
Emergency,
Yeah, and has been basically
quadruple
involved in
bypass.
Oh, my goodness.
I had to go down and help my
He's now
mom
treasurer of the
manage
board.
that.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've only been back really for a couple months here, I've not been
Moving
up
down
to
the generation.
Clark, but
Yeah,
Gotta do that, keep,
I used to
Absolutely,
hear,
things
I used to hear
moving,
about it
yeah.
a lot from him, because he
that's
was
the
on our
struggle,
board
I
at the
think,
chamber.
every organization.
And,
You got, you know, you got-
we spent a lot of time out at the county fair, because the chamber had a booth out there.
okay.
So, I
They're
got,
doing stuff
One
too,
of the
I
more
could put in the,
interesting changes.
redeveloping the grandstand or something.
yeah.
I've known
But
some
they're
of the
doing,
people
the
for a
Payne
long
County
time
Fair
through
Foundation
kayak.
is raising some money right now. Our Lions Club just wrote a letter of support for
There's
the
a social
grandstand,
worker in Chicago that
so that the state can give us some more money. We wrote a letter of support to the federal government, and
Realize-
they gave us some money for that.
who's
So,
exceptional.
we're hoping to get groundbreaking sometime in 2026.
Realized that
It just takes a long time to do anything.
with a lot of kids she was working
The
with,
government slowly.
if she took them
Well,
outside,
especially, yeah.
she could actually get some
So, anyway.
communication
So, yeah, we're
and realize.
looking forward to that. Right now, the Fair Foundation is
an
doing
organization called
spaghetti
Public
dinners
Venture
and baked potato suppers and all sorts of things.
They
Just
still bring like the
handed
gun and knife
over
show and all that?
Yeah, they still have the gun and knife show, things like that out there.
to a young woman who
Yeah, they
came
do,
up, who started as a
there's other
shy
things
middle
out there.
schooler
They had, a lot of horse shows, of course,
and
there as well.
grown through
And then,
that. Went off to college,
they had
got
an
an
energy
MS,
fair out
came
there,
back,
gem and
and
mineral
started
show
working
out
for
there.
the organization.
But you see, they don't have anything, it's all in that big arena.
Andrea has
And,
transferred, you know, I
the
think
there's a need for
Couple
grandstand
weeks ago.
types of events too. you know.
transferred, CEO.
There's a little stage over in
She
Rainier
was
Park
about-
that the Rotary Club put in.
So, it's very cool, all doing stuff.
You heard
in a
me
lot
say
of
something
inner
about
city
dog park, we're trying to put a
Chicago,
dog
get
park in
people
a
that,
Bound Park.
You know, kayaks,
Okay.
and
Too far away
kayaks,
from
and then
us,
they start
right?
getting
Right at the
climbing
end
and
of
ice
spot.
climbing and
Randolph.
Enjoy that,
Open.
have space and then.
And
Yeah.
to see that
yeah.
Thank you
And
much.
they
What the hell?
managed to get a whole fleet
Skate.
of boats and,
inline skate rink there that they had there, that blue
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah,
so.
they wanna take that
No,
out,
but
put a dog park in.
The idea of being able to create an organization
That's the
that
reason
you
why,
love,
yeah.
Sad. I
and
remember
then
when that
pass
was
I
it
got a
on,
thing of tickets and I wrote my
and
name.
hand
Okay,
it
great.
over is
Thanks.
something that is rare.
Oh, okay.
Kids still use that.
Oh, yeah, the skate park gets a lot of use. And, the city was looking at, selling the ball field
Yeah.
and putting
You
in
can
senior
burn yourself out
apartments,
too.
but then
Oh,
the community
yeah,
had a
and
big
I've done
uprising
that,
about
and
it,
burned
so
out a bit with
they're gonna keep the
quiet
ball
water
field
at
in
the
there, I
time,
guess,
right?
but, they're planning
Being
on
part
taking
of the,
that,
you know, the
taking
board
the,
and the planning part of that
the
for
rink out and then putting a dog park in there and then a little playground.
2015,
Okay.
and it was time to hand it on.
We talked
But I've
to,
still,
one of our other
stayed
members here,
involved
Dave
with
I
Sodman,
was
or not Dave Sodman,
Toastmasters
Dave
International
Scott.
for a long
We went over and talked to the city about it,
Mhm.
and they said,
Did
yeah,
that
we're
for
looking at putting a dog park in. I said, well,
Did
you
all
know,
the
we
walls.
support leader dogs
It
for
was
the
like,
blind.
this time to,
And so I
yeah.
think, well, there's a natural
Yeah,
connection.
professional
kind of
organizations
thing.
involved in
The Lions do something for that. And, you know, we were pretty good at raising money in these poker
Nobody
rooms.
else,
We
everybody
need to
stepped
have
back
something
and
worthwhile in
there
the
was-
community to spend
they're
it.
taking over the lead, it was a good experience.
But what we wanna
for
do
us,
is we wanna
so
tie
bring
that
back.
into,
Oh, yeah, okay.
doing some more
I had to
fundraising
tell
for the
everybody,
leader
hey,
dogs,
we got
as
one
well
year
as
left.
just
You
for the
know,
dog
it was
parks, so.
like, Yep, that guy,
I
yeah,
always
step
try to
up like, yeah, I'm
synergize,
back you now, it's
you know,
good.
one
I
hand
got a
washes
year
the
left
other,
of it.
and
Yeah,
you can
it was
use
good.
an investment for
And,
one
you know, it was
thing,
good,
build
'cause
an
it was
investment for
just a
another
few
thing,
years
so.
ago,
Right,
and
right.
last year I was able to go
Good-
to one of
good
the meetings,
business.
it was like, wow, this
Yep.
is still going. It felt good that
Yeah.
it didn't just drift that way, so I know how you talk about
Yeah.
that next generation.
That's good stuff. Yeah, it's exciting to see people in that 20 to 40-year-old range that are starting to take over the reins of Quiet Adventure.
Yeah.
So,
All right, well,
Yeah,
Rich, we'll see you
all right.
out there probably.
Yeah.
Saturday.
How about it? So thanks for
All right.
speaking. I know it's my first time here too.
And your
but,
name again, sir?
Kyle.
Kyle,
Yeah,
okay.
we
All
want
right,
these-
so you're just a visitor today, or?
Yeah, say I grew up in Rich's neighborhood, right
Oh,
around the
did
corner
you?
from
Okay.
your land there. And, I'll have to make it out, because I do like mountain biking.
Okay, yeah, trails are open. Best thing probably for biking is we have an entrance off Holly Road. It's
Mhm.
probably the main spot that people go there. Mid-Michigan Mountain Biking Association,
Yep.
it's another group that, you have heard of those guys?
So I mean, I'm from the Novi area for the last 3 years, and there's
Okay.
a lot of mountain biking in that area, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they're all tied together one way or another, I know that.
So we'd love to have you check out the property.
Yeah, so I'll definitely have to come out, so,
Okay.
thank you again,
It's good
sir,
meeting
appreciate you. Thank you,
All right,
gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you much, sir.
All right.
In that mountain biking community, did you ever run across Brent Forsberg?
No, don't know
No?
the name,
Okay.
so,
I think he's still involved with that. He's a major developer in the Greater Lansing area.
okay.
And, so,
Main person I know is Rob Zanger.
I think I remember that
He's a
name,
real
too.
hands-on guy. He lives here in town up on
Yeah.
Maple Street.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I remember him.
He's like 40, a younger guy.
But, you know, I'll, if I see him again, I mean, when I was on the chamber, he was on our board. I ran the chamber for 15 years, so it's been 5 years since I retired from there.
Okay.
But, you know, you're always invited to the chamber things too, just to let you know.
Okay,
Because I
how does
think
that
You're
work?
still a main, you think the ICD's still a member.
So are they looking for speakers, or what is that, what is a chamber meeting like?
The chamber has a number of different events that it does. It has morning meetings every other month. It has mixers every other month. It has, it sponsors Spring Fling, it sponsors Down Home Days, it sponsors 4th of July, things like that, so. It's something that is a good idea to get involved in, and like I say, ICD in the past has kind of, been a part of what's going on at the chamber, just so that people know what's going on. That's why I kind of related it to the airport, because people at the airport wanted to let the chamber know what they were about too, because the business community needs to know about the resources that we have in this community. We have a general aviation airport, we've got that place with wonderful trails down there on Dexter Trail, and we've got a museum, we've got all these things. And a lot of times
Make
people-
this a great place to live here in Mason.
Yeah.
people don't know about everything, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ICD land is kind of one of those hidden secrets.
It is, yeah.
I know, I'm out there on the trails all the time, I'm surprised we haven't run into each other, but just kind of ran, I'll see people out there, and there's people that have no idea what ICD is, they just think it's
Yeah.
like a county park or something, they have no
Yeah.
idea what it even is, so.
Yeah,
And that's one thing we're working on, like signage and just more kind of promotional stuff. I got my wife roped in, so she's gonna help us with a lot of the social
A lot of
media
that for
stuff
people
and
now, I'll get those.
getting kind of that stuff out there and so. But, yeah, anyways, guys, appreciate coming in here and getting
Yeah.
to connect with some people.
well, good. And you can always join us too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You'll
definitely.
notice that in your mug, there's
Okay.
a
Yeah.
membership application.
Yeah, I will definitely come back and check you guys out again.
Yeah, for
Appreciate
sure.
it. Thank you, appreciate what you guys
Yeah.
do.
Like I was saying, Kyle, we're looking for another generation down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, take care.
All right.
I guess I better clean things up here. Turn off the recording.